Liam threatened to take my parents' jobs to force me to donate a kidney to his white moonlight. The man smiled politely. Wife, do you want to see your parents sleeping on the streets? I finally gave in. After coming out of the operating room, I asked him for a divorce. On the day Liam and his white moonlight announced their relationship, I died in a plane crash. So, back to 17 years old. I no longer pursued Liam and stayed away from him and his white moonlight. Then I found Song Pei, who would later become a business tycoon but was currently just a poor student. I clung to him early on and constantly tried to win his favor. All I wanted was for him to take me along to make money in the future. Song Pei was afraid of being bullied and always clung to me pitifully. But later, I saw him with blood all over his hands. He beat up Brandon, who had confessed his feelings to me, leaving him half dead. It took me 3 minutes to realize I had reincarnated back to 6 years ago. This year, I was in my second year of high school, 17 years old. Hey! Ji Nan! What are you standing there for? It's your turn to speak. Ryan shouted my name loudly from the stage below. I realized I had returned to the day of the art festival host election. The male host had chosen Liam. I was competing with his white moonlight Evelyn for the female host position. During my final speech to rally votes, Evelyn was suddenly struck by a falling light bulb from the ceiling. Her neck was slashed by shards of the light tube, leaving several bloody gashes. Liam ran onto the stage, picked up Evelyn, and carried her away. Since she withdrew from the competition midway, I was directly chosen as the female host. But on the day of the art festival, Liam ruined my evening gown backstage. I clutched the hem of my dress tightly and said in a hoarse voice, "The incident with Evelyn being hit by the light wasn't my doing." He smiled mockingly while playing with the folding knife in his hand. Who knows? After all, it's common knowledge that you can't stand her. Even if it wasn't you, consider this a warning. Listen carefully, don't mess with Evelyn in the future. I had to quickly put on an ill-fitting dress and go on stage to host the event. But I was still affected by Liam, and my performance was lackluster throughout. As a result, I was scolded by the student council for 2 hours after the event. Snapping out of my memories. I looked up at the light above Evelyn's head in the distance. It was already swaying dangerously. Without thinking, I ran over and pushed Evelyn aside. The next second, the light bulb fell and exploded on the ground. I raised my hand to touch Evelyn's arm, but was suddenly pulled away. I fell back to the ground. Liam wrapped his arm around Evelyn with one hand, his gaze cold. Try touching her again. My knees were scraped, bleeding slightly. I couldn't help but let out a soft groan. Someone nearby hesitated to speak. Ji-gu, it seems like there's been a misunderstanding. Ji Nan pushed Evelyn away to prevent the light fixture from hitting her. Liam's gaze faltered. Having been reborn, I didn't want to say a single word to him. I pushed myself up from the ground. I looked at Ryan. I'm withdrawing from the election. I need to tend to my wounds, so I won't make my final speech. Everyone was stunned, unable to believe I'd give up the chance to share the stage with Liam. The president replied a moment later. All right, just be careful. As I rubbed my knee and left, I heard whispers behind me. Damn it, she's just upset because Brother Ji protected Evelyn, so she's throwing a tantrum and giving up. It's obvious. At least this will give Ji-gu 2 days of peace, instead of her following him around like a pest, driving him crazy. 2 days? I bet she'll be back looking for Ji-gu by this afternoon. I sighed silently. It seems like I was really love-struck back then, which is why everyone has this stereotypical impression of me. In my previous life, after we got married, Liam threatened me with his parents' jobs to force me to donate a kidney to Evelyn. He gently stroked the diamond ring on my finger. He warned me in a soft voice. Everything in this house is premarital property. Wife, if you try to take it to support your parents, be prepared for them to be sued by the Welt Group. Actually, even if my parents lost their jobs, the savings at home would be enough. But Liam's assistant hinted to me. For Miss Evelyn, the boss would go to any lengths. If you don't want your parents to fall victim to fraud or extortion, you'd better agree to donate your kidney as soon as possible. This incident has always been a psychological shadow for me. So in this new life, making money has become my top priority. And I need to make a lot of money, so that no one can threaten me so easily. So that I have the right to refuse. I walked along, lost in thought, until I passed the bulletin board. Under the scholarship section, I saw Songpei's photo. The boy had a handsome face, with a nearly indifferent calmness in his eyes. He looked completely different from how he would appear 6 years later. I recalled the media's evaluation of him that year. He had single-handedly built a new commercial empire, standing unmatched among the new generation of business elites. At that time, Songpei was just seen as an introverted, academically gifted but impoverished student in our class. I decided to take a shortcut. I would latch onto Songpei early on and constantly try to impress him. So that one day, I could ask him to take me under his wing and help me make money. After applying the ointment, I returned to the classroom before the lunch break ended. My gaze swept past Songpei's seat, and I bit my lip, but in the end, I didn't speak. Going out of my way to be nice without a reason would probably just make me look like a bad person. Until the class dinner on Friday evening. I sat next to Songpei as if by accident. I kept glancing at him, so focused that I didn't notice Liam across from me staring at me for a long time. I looked over, confused. He coldly averted his gaze. What's wrong with him? Liam and his group of rich kids had always looked down on Songpei. Even when eating, they had to pick on him. One of Liam's friends spun the table's serving tray. He said meaningfully, "Everyone, eat as much as you want. The owner of this restaurant knows me, so he's willing to give us this special price that's not usually available. Otherwise, this place is pretty pricey, and some of you probably can't afford it." He stopped spinning the plate. A dish piled high with chili peppers was placed in front of Songpei. He smiled broadly at Songpei and said, "Song, don't be shy. Eat up." Songpei had a weak stomach and had been hospitalized twice for stomach issues during class. Liam must have known that. It was clear he was intentionally humiliating Songpei. Songpei didn't move his chopsticks. Everyone around the table fell silent. Some who couldn't stand it just clenched their teeth and dared not speak. After all, these young masters weren't easy to provoke. But someone who had died once had a different mindset. I reached out to spin the turntable and smiled at the boy. "Thank you. Then I won't be polite." I moved a bowl of yam and pork rib soup to myself. Without looking up, I picked up Songpei's bowl, filled it with pork ribs, and placed it back in front of him. "Sorry, I took the wrong bowl." Songpei looked at me but said nothing. Under the complex gazes of everyone else, I served myself another bowl. Then I took a small sip. I looked up and gave the boy a little wink. "It's really different from what I had at a regular restaurant. You actually managed to get us a discount." I exclaimed in feigned admiration. "You're so amazing." The boy blushed from the compliment. "Oh, it's nothing. If you like it, just drink it. If you want more, ask the waiter to add some. I'll pay." Of course. Child psychology is perfect for this kind of person. The class monitor stepped in to liven up the atmosphere. Everyone started eating. Songpei didn't touch the soup. I took the opportunity to strike up a conversation. "Don't you like pork ribs? What dish would you like to eat? I can ask the waiter to bring it over for you." Songpei didn't respond. His gaze shifted from the soup to my face. He studied me, his eyes flickering with a hint of mockery. "Just say it. What's your purpose?" The big shot saw right through my flattery. I felt a bit embarrassed for being exposed, but I spoke sincerely. "I'm really bad at physics. I was hoping you could help me study. As a thank you, I can bring you breakfast every day." Songpei smiled lightly, but it was cold enough. I spoke before he could say anything. You must think I have other motives. You don't believe it's that simple, do you? The boy's eyes darkened. I shook my head and smiled, completely unfazed. It's okay. I'll prove it to you. Song-Pei clenched his lips tightly, still saying nothing. But moments later, he drank the soup. The meal ended, and I bid farewell to Song-Pei. I walked home alone along the tree-lined path. A black car slowly pulled up beside me. The back window rolled down, revealing Evelyn and Liam. Evelyn smiled and greeted me. "Gee Nan, do you need a ride home?" I declined, my place is close. Her expression grew meaningful. So close, and Song-Pei didn't even drive you home? He's such an unqualified boyfriend. Unlike Ji, who always has the driver take me home first. Liam sat on the inside. Half his face was hidden in the shadows, and I couldn't make out his expression. I didn't care if she and Liam were together. But spreading rumors was something I absolutely couldn't tolerate. Song-Pei still hated me. If rumors spread because of me, he'll definitely be angry. I stared at Evelyn, my voice cold. Where did you get the idea that Song-Pei is my boyfriend? If he's not your boyfriend, why are you getting involved? Liam spoke up. He got out of the car, slammed the door, and walked over to me. His gaze fixed on the corner of my mouth. If he's not your boyfriend, why are you chatting with him so happily? Do you know how many times you smiled at him tonight? His anger flared up for no apparent reason. But I instinctively wanted to stay away from Liam. Song-Pei and I are just ordinary classmates. Tonight, I was simply annoyed by how you were targeting him. After saying that, I walked past him and left in a hurry. I didn't know how far I had walked. Suddenly, I heard quick footsteps behind me. Almost at the same time, my arm was grabbed. I turned around and met Liam's eyes. For a moment, I felt like I was back in my past life, locked in a villa and forced to donate my kidney. I screamed in fear. Liam furrowed his brows. It was me. I struggled desperately. Let go of me. Liam pulled me into his arms and gently stroked my back. His voice was gentle, as if he were comforting someone. It's okay. Don't be afraid. It's me. It's Liam. I pushed his shoulders with all my strength, crying out in panic. Let go of me. Let go of me. Liam paused for a moment before slowly letting go. I immediately took several steps back until my back hit the wall, regaining a sense of security. The night was dark, and I couldn't see the emotions in his eyes. I only heard him speak in confusion. Gee Nan, are you afraid of me? I raised my hand to wipe away my tears. Please stay away from me from now on. I don't like you anymore, and I don't want to have anything to do with you. Gee Nan. Liam interrupted me, a cold smile curving his lips. He asked with a haughty gaze. What are you getting all worked up about? Have I been the one pursuing you all this time? I held back my sobs and nodded seriously. Please rest assured, I will never bother you again. After a long pause, Liam casually placed the plastic bag on the lid of the nearby trash can. You better keep your word. Only after he had walked away did I approach to take a closer look at the contents of the plastic bag. It was several boxes of ointment for superficial injuries. I moved my fingertips. I gently touched the scar on my knee. But it had already healed long ago. After that day, Liam completely ignored me. I breathed a slight sigh of relief. I could now focus more on winning Song-Pei's favor. He got first place on the exam again, and I handed him a warm cup of milk tea. Wow. Song-Pei, you're so amazing. You've always been first in the grade and never once dropped below. Song-Pei twirled his pen between his fingers, smiling faintly. Do you think that line works on me? Child psychology only works on idiots. I refused to admit it, keeping a serious expression, and said, I really think you're amazing. Song-Pei glanced at me indifferently. For the sake of making big money in the future, I didn't give up. I cooked him a nourishing soup for his stomach, packed it in a thermos, and brought it to school. When the homeroom teacher praised him at the class meeting, I clapped for him first. Even when he worked part-time at a coffee shop on weekends, I went to accompany him. Song Pei seemed to have become desensitized to me. He didn't mind me following him around all the time. In the coffee shop, another part-time worker shook his head in admiration. Song Pei, stop being so aloof. Such a cute girl is chasing after you, and you won't even give her a chance. Song Pei lowered his eyes, picking at the ice cubes in his cup, as if he hadn't heard. I froze. Looking up, I stammered an explanation to the guy. I'm not chasing Song Pei. We're just friends. The ice cube Song Pei had picked up slipped out of his fingers and fell to the ground. I turned my head and met his dark, unfathomable eyes. I hesitated and blinked. Do you think I'm chasing you too? Song Pei bent down, picked up the ice cube, and tossed it into the trash can. He denied it calmly. No. I never thought that. He ground the coffee beans methodically. It seemed like the intense emotion that had flashed across his face just a moment ago was just my imagination. Although Song Pei didn't think much of it. But being misunderstood twice for liking him made me start to reflect on whether I had been trying too hard to gain his favor. If Song Pei heard the rumors about us again, he might end up disliking me. I stopped bringing soup for Song Pei. I also stopped seeking him out or clinging to him as often. A few times after class, I would inadvertently make eye contact with Song Pei. Even from several rows away, he was quietly looking at me. His slender figure made him look so fragile. I couldn't help but feel soft-hearted. So I decided to go to the cafe where he worked part-time this Saturday to keep him company. However, Song Pei's vulnerability wouldn't allow me to wait until Saturday. During PE class free time, Song Pei was sitting alone in the pavilion, pressing his stomach. Even from a distance, I could see his shoulders trembling. I rushed over and knelt down in front of him. Song Pei, what's wrong? Is your stomach acting up again? His face was pale, and he bit his lips tightly as if enduring immense pain. He nodded slightly. He leaned against the pillar and staggered to his feet. I'll go to the infirmary first. Let me help you. Song Pei avoided my outstretched hand. No, it's too much trouble for you. I was so anxious that I grabbed his arm and placed it on my shoulder. What are you talking about, Song Pei? Why are you being so formal all of a sudden? Song Pei lowered his eyes slightly and spoke softly. Don't you hate me anymore? He gently brushed my hand away and pressed his hand against his stomach. Gee Nan, I don't need your pity. It's just a stomach ache. It won't kill me. I can go to the infirmary by myself. You should keep your distance. Song Pei was in so much pain he couldn't stand up straight. After saying that, he collapsed back onto the bench, his forehead covered in sweat. I rushed forward to support him, stammering comfortingly. I don't hate you. Let me help you first, okay? Don't make a scene. The boy didn't move. Song Pei, can you just listen to me? I was so anxious I was about to cry. He finally raised his hand to touch me, pressing his head against my neck, and whispered hoarsely. It hurts so much. The facade of indifference he had been maintaining cracked, revealing a hint of hurt. I felt so guilty I couldn't speak. Song Pei was practically lying on top of me. But for some reason, it didn't feel very heavy. When we arrived at the infirmary, there were already other people there. The school nurse was instructing Liam, who was surrounded by others. His wrist was badly injured, and he wouldn't be able to play sports for a while. I'll go to that building to get some ointment for you. Wait here for a moment. Liam indifferently withdrew his gaze from us. All right. I helped Song Pei sit down as far away from them as possible. But we couldn't avoid being gossiped about. Hey, what's going on with those two? Isn't Ji Nan crazy about Ji Gu? Has she switched her target now? Song Pei's lips were dry and white. I whispered to him, do you want some hot water? He nodded slightly. I took a cup of hot water and placed it in his hand. But Song Pei's hand was too weak to hold the cup. I sighed and took the cup, feeding it to Song Jiaojiao's lips. Holy crap, he's feeding her. She's never been this nice to Ethan. It's obvious she really likes our Ethan. Suddenly, the sound of a chair being slammed on the ground echoed behind us. Liam left the infirmary expressionlessly, slamming the door so hard it shook. The doorframe trembled and sprang back into place. Liam's brothers looked at each other. Why did she suddenly get so angry? Was it because he missed that last three-pointer? That makes sense. Soon, only Song Pei and I were left in the infirmary. He seemed a little better than half an hour ago. He played with the empty paper cup in his hand and smiled meaninglessly. So you like Liam's type? I can't compare to him, so it's no wonder you avoid me. Being misunderstood as liking someone like me. He curved his lips, and his casual tone was hard to distinguish from self-mockery. It is pretty disgusting. I remained silent for a while. Song Pei's expression was calm, but he was gripping the paper cup tighter and tighter. It was almost crumpled into a ball. Oh. So you're just a spoiled little dog. I reached out and cupped his face in my hands. I leaned in close and tilted my head to take a closer look. Gee Nan. Shoo, don't say anything. Let me see what's so disgusting. I pretended to be serious. You're even more handsome than Liam. Your grades are better than his, and your personality is better too. His mysterious eyes locked onto me. This stubborn little dog needs some praise to regain his confidence. I let go of him and spoke to him like a child. Song Pei, don't talk about yourself like that anymore. He lowered his eyelids and said softly. But you suddenly stopped talking to me. I'm sorry. I explained awkwardly. I thought you didn't want others to misunderstand our relationship, so I was being cautious. Song Pei naturally leaned his head on my shoulder. I only hate it when you ignore me. I couldn't help but stiffen. Leaning on me on the way here was unavoidable. Now, is this too intimate? Song Pei noticed the sudden change in my body. I looked up, feeling a sharp pain, and couldn't sit steadily. Emily, do you find it disgusting that I'm leaning on you like this? I stiffened like a scarecrow. But afraid that rejecting him would hurt his self-esteem, I shook my head lightly. No, of course not. Friends leaning on each other's shoulders is normal, right? He curved his lips and leaned back against my left shoulder. I looked at the large bag of stomach medicine the school nurse had prescribed for Song Pei with a headache. I was almost able to cure his stomach condition. Now we're back to square one. He can't take care of himself at all when I'm not around. At lunchtime, we went to the cafeteria together. 2 cafeteria ants pushing food carts passed by us, making disapproving sounds. Are kids these days mentally unstable? This morning, I saw a pretty good-looking guy put a big spoonful of chili into his porridge. He looked so miserable, sweating profusely, and kept drinking it non-stop. It was kind of scary. Song Pei stood beside me, his expression calm and composed. I casually reminded him. Your stomach isn't good. Avoid spicy food. He raised his hand and gently stroked my cheek. His eyes sparkled with a hint of carelessness. Don't worry, I never touch chili. Song Pei offered to help me with physics. To make it easier for us to study together, when we changed seats again shortly after, Song Pei and I became deskmates. However, Liam was also assigned to sit behind me. During self-study class, I dragged my textbook over and whispered, Song Pei, can you explain this problem to me? He wrote out the detailed solution on a scrap of paper. I understood immediately and smiled slightly. Thank you. Can you be quieter? Liam suddenly spoke up, not bothering to lower his voice. The entire class turned to look. He threw his pen on the desk. Leaning back in his chair with his arms crossed, his expression was cold and emotionless. Is self-study time for you to explain problems? I already lowered my voice as much as possible. Besides, Song Pei didn't say a word. Besides, there had been constant whispers throughout the class. Liam was clearly looking for a fight. I glared at him, holding back my anger. The atmosphere instantly became tense. Song Pei, as usual, remained composed. He spoke softly to Liam in a polite manner. "Don't be hard on Emily. Classmate, I'll apologize to you. Can we just forget about this?" Liam sneered and gave him a mocking glance. "Who the hell are you?" I tugged at Song Pei's sleeve. "Why apologize? You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't even say anything." Song Pei comforted me in a casual tone. "I'm used to it. An apology will solve it. There's no need to make a big deal out of it." He raised his eyebrows slightly. "It's not like we have to switch seats." "Switch seats?" Song Pei's offhand remark reminded me. "Liam doesn't like us. If we keep sitting together, he'll definitely target us. It's better to separate now." I pulled Song Pei, who was about to apologize. "Let's pack up and switch seats after class." I snorted lightly. "Let's stay away from him." Liam got even angrier for no reason. He suddenly stood up, knocking over his chair. His gaze locked onto me, his eyes suppressing a storm. "Gee," he murmured. I was completely confused. Liam's desk mate's gaze darted between us. Suddenly, he let out 2 exclamations and apologized repeatedly. "I'm sorry, Jigo has been in a bad mood lately. It's definitely not intentional. Why change seats? We just started, and if we ask to switch now, the teacher won't agree." After saying that, he quickly helped Liam pick up his chair and tugged at his sleeve. Liam sat back down. His expression was gloomy, but he didn't say anything else. His desk mate patted his chest and guaranteed, "If something like today happens again, and you want to switch seats, I won't stop you." Deal? I thought about it and decided it was acceptable. But I turned to Song Pei for confirmation first. Song Pei slowly withdrew his gaze from Liam's desk mate's face. His smile was faint. "All right." He idly fiddled with the pen on his test paper. "What's the big deal?" Liam and his group harbored an inexplicable hostility towards Song Pei. During the big break, they were tossing a ball back and forth in the classroom. A few of them exchanged glances and deliberately threw the ball towards Song Pei, who was standing next to me. Liam leaned against the door, watching coldly. I instinctively stepped in front of Song Pei. In that moment, all I could think about was not wanting him to get hurt. Not any other deliberate action. The wind from the basketball hit me in the face. But just before it hit me, Liam caught it. He slammed it on the ground. His face was clearly filled with anger. Liam grabbed me and roughly pulled me out of the classroom. "Let go of me." "Liam!" At the end of the hallway. He shook off my hand, and I stumbled back a few steps before managing to steady myself. Rage surged to my head. I raised my hand and slapped him hard across the face, my voice trembling with anger. "What the hell are you doing? Did I do something to you again? I've come back to this life and have been trying my best to stay away from him. Why can't I escape him?" Liam closed in on me step by step. "What were you doing just now? I didn't catch the ball, and your nose broke, you know? Gee Nan, what's your relationship with Song Pei that you're so protective of him?" He pressed me against the wall, his body emanating a stormy, low-pressure aura. "Did you forget that you used to like me?" I wasn't surprised by Liam's sudden outburst of anger. It was obvious he couldn't stand someone who had been chasing after him suddenly stop. I didn't have the patience to explain. I lowered my head and bit down hard on his wrist, which was holding me back. As he loosened his grip for a second, I pushed him away and ran off. 10. I was prepared for Liam to target me. But he took a day off without warning. He took a whole week off. When I saw him again, his face was pale and sickly. His eyes were as black as coal, calm as dead water. He looked even more terrifying than when he went crazy a week ago. Our eyes met. I couldn't help but imagine what Liam would look like 6 years later. Cold sweat began to form on the palms of my hands. The entire morning, he sat quietly behind me. Until it was time to go home after school. Songpei was called to the principal's office and stayed there for most of the period. He didn't come back after school either. I went to the cafeteria alone and packed some light food for Songpei. But just as I stepped out of the building, a hand reached out from behind and covered my mouth, pulling me into an alley behind the school building. There were hardly any people around. Liam bent his knees to press against my legs, pinning me against the wall. One hand gripped both of my wrists. The other hand covered the lower half of my face. I couldn't move or make a sound. I could only glare at him in fury. Liam didn't seem to care. He leaned forward, burying his forehead in the crook of my neck. He took a breath, almost as if he were craving it. "Emily, I'm back." I felt a sudden chill run down my spine, spreading throughout my body. My blood seemed to freeze. The Liam of my youth had never called me Emily. He lifted his head again. My gaze froze. In his eyes was the obsessive madness unique to the Liam of 6 years later. The last time, we got married 4 years later. This time, a little earlier. Should we get engaged right after graduation? He spoke calmly, yet his words were madness. Or, we could just get married abroad after graduation. The word marriage dragged me back to those suffocating post-wedding memories. I stared at Liam's still youthful face. I stammered, trying to persuade him. "Evelyn isn't sick yet. You can take better care of her. Take her for regular checkups." "Liam, please let me go. You must be able to find another kidney donor. Please let me go this time. Can't you?" My words came faster and faster, and by the end, I was almost shouting. Liam remained unmoved. "I've explained this to you more than once. I have no feelings for Evelyn. I only love you. I'm forcing you to donate your kidney because she saved my life when I was a child. I owe her my life." I didn't believe a word he said. No one loves someone like that. I pushed him away when he let his guard down and ran out. But as soon as I reached the main road, he caught up and grabbed my wrist tightly. "Emily, listen to me. You're hurting her." Songpei returned from the office and happened to see us. He roughly pushed Liam's hand away and stood in front of me. The moment Liam saw him, his anger flared up. "Get out." Songpei was grabbed by the collar and thrown to the ground. After stumbling back a few steps, his head collided with a half-finished steel frame. Songpei groaned and slid down the wall. "Songpei!" I rushed to his side. His forehead was bleeding, with a few drops trickling down. Songpei seemed dizzy, his eyelids slowly closing. I called his name in a trembling voice. "Don't sleep, we'll go to the hospital right now." He struggled to stand up, leaning on me. Blood dripped onto the ground, and he even managed to curve his lips into a smile. "Don't be afraid, I won't faint." He could barely stand on his own, yet he pulled me behind him. He glanced at Liam. "I still have to protect you." My heart skipped a beat. But the scene was too chaotic for me to process it fully. As I helped Songpei walk past Liam toward the school gate, he finally spoke after a long silence. I didn't push him hard, he bumped into me on his own. "Emily." He raised his hand as if to hold mine. I avoided him and supported Songpei as we went around him. Liam froze, as if nailed to the spot. "Just trust me once." "Is that so hard?" His voice was so soft it blended into the wind, tinged with a hint of weakness. He always seemed to be asking me to trust him. In my past life, he made me believe he only loved me. Then, to make me donate a kidney to Evelyn, he drove me to the brink of mental collapse multiple times. 11. Inside the hospital examination room. Songpei had a bandage wrapped around his forehead, waiting for a tetanus shot. I kept reminding him. "Songpei, thank you for protecting me like this. But Liam knows martial arts, you can't beat him. Don't do this again. He won't hit me, but he'll knock you unconscious with one punch. Song Pei laughed as if he'd heard the most absurd joke. What? I can't beat him? I shook his shoulders and said firmly. It's true. Look, he didn't even use much force to push you that far. If he really tried, you wouldn't stand a chance. Song Pei stammered and continued to defend himself. I tripped over some rebar. I sighed, all right, all right. Song Pei grabbed my arm as I tried to leave. You don't believe me? I remained silent, staring at him. My eyes spoke volumes. Don't you know how weak you are? You can't even stand up straight when you have an upset stomach. A gentle push and you fall over. You're so tall, yet you can't even beat me. But when I opened my mouth, I hesitated, considering his pride as a guy. No, I believe you. I'll go get you some medicine. Stay here and wait for the injection. Song Pei snorted in disbelief, about to say something else. I hurried out. As I walked, I mused, I thought Song Pei was different. He's actually pretty immature and likes to show off. But surprisingly, I don't mind it. Even a bit of a charming contrast. Liam was like a shadow that wouldn't leave. He blocked my way after school. I impatiently rubbed my temples. What do you want? Stay away from Song Pei. Liam took a step closer, looking at me and stating firmly. He doesn't have good intentions toward you. Liam didn't hide his possessiveness at all. I suddenly felt that he might actually like me a little. But... Liam, I think I've always forgotten to tell you. What? Fearing he wouldn't believe me, I enunciated each word clearly and firmly. With one sentence, I drew a clear line between us. I've never liked you since long ago. The warm yellow light of the street lamp couldn't penetrate the darkness of his eyes. He turned his face away, his tone cold. I didn't come back to this life to hear you say these things. I didn't come back to be threatened into donating my kidney again. Liam's jaw tightened, and he shouted. I won't do this anymore. Is this over? He stepped closer, until my back was pressed against the wall. What do I have to do for you to pretend this never happened and start over? Say it. I had nowhere to retreat, but I calmed down. I tiptoed up and grabbed his collar, pulling him down until he bent over. Liam. If you don't let me go, I'll go down with you. I've already died once. I looked into his eyes. On the day your relationship with Evelyn was exposed and trended on social media. If reincarnation means returning to the same path and suffering again, then I'd rather die. And I'll take Liam with me. I let go of him, pushed him hard against the wall behind me, and turned to leave. As I walked out of the alley, I heard a low voice behind me. It was the media sensationalizing the story. He laughed, then said, "Forget it. It's not worth it. Anyway, no matter what I say, you won't believe me." Footsteps grew closer. Liam walked past me, not even glancing at me, and left. That broad back disappeared completely from my sight, and I exhaled in relief. He had let me go. After that day, Liam returned to his previous state of ignoring me completely. The art festival was drawing near, and the atmosphere was thick with anticipation, permeating every corner of the school. It temporarily overshadowed the heavy atmosphere caused by the upcoming college entrance exams. Liam and Evelyn were always together, holding their scripts. Song Pei was also forced by the homeroom teacher to sign up for a piano performance. He wasn't any less handsome than Liam. But his personality and family background held him back, making him far less popular than Liam. But on the stage of the art festival, under the spotlight, the flickering lights cast shadows on his slightly lowered eyelashes, his delicate yet elegant profile, and his fingertips dancing across the black and white keys. Song Pei was finally noticed. Holy crap! How did I not notice how handsome the top student in our grade was before? The male lead from a novel has come to life. I'm switching my crush. Goodbye, Liam. Enough already, I still think Liam is more handsome. Song Pei instantly became the center of attention. As his performance was about to end, I ran to the backstage holding a bouquet of blue and white flowers to wait for him. During that time, Liam appeared behind me holding a microphone. "Excuse me." His voice was cold and distant. "You're blocking my way." I held the bouquet tightly and awkwardly stepped back a few steps to let him pass. Liam walked past me without expression. We were like two strangers who had never met before. Song Pei came down from the stage, and I was about to walk up to him with the flowers. A girl ran past me. She was also looking for Song Pei. "Can I add you on WeChat?" I'm also learning piano. Can I ask you for help if I have any questions?" The girl held back her shyness and dared not look at Song Pei. I quietly blinked. I stopped and waited quietly to the side. Disappointment bubbled up like steam in a kettle, making the lid rattle. It was so loud it made my heart race.